Good evening, everyone. You are watching Global Insight News, bringing you stories from around the world. I'm Amira Rehana.
And I'm Shafi Akimi. So today we will be talking about New Zealand, a country famous for its beautiful landscape. Let's get started.
First, some basic fact. New Zealand has a population of 5.3 million, which is only 0.067% of the world population. It's the 125th most populated country in the world. Its capital is Wellington, but the largest city is Auckland.
The geography of New Zealand is 75th largest country with a total area of 268,680 square kilometers. It's also the sixth largest island country with 97% of land and 3% of water.
Politics. New Zealand is a limited monarchy and a parliamentary democracy. The British monarch is the head of state and the Governor-General represent the monarch in New Zealand. Its parliament is unicameral, meaning it has just one house and members are elected using a proportional system.
Now, let's take a look at the economy. New Zealand has a mixed market economy. Its GDP dropped slightly in the second quarters of 2024 by 0.2% because of changes in spending, production, and income. The inflation rate in September 2024 was 2.2%, showing that the economy is stable.
When it comes to currency, one New Zealand dollar equals about 0.37 USD. This means things in New Zealand are more expensive compared to some other countries. This is because its strong trade sector and political stability.
However, there are some challenges. Between March and June 2024, unemployment rose by 0.2%. Also, more than 85% of Muslims in New Zealand have reported experiencing Islamophobia, with over half facing discrimination.
Lastly, let's talk about religion. Almost half of New Zealanders say they have no religion. Christianity is the largest religion with 37.3%, followed by smaller groups like Hindus, Muslims, and Maori religions.
New Zealand is a mixed and diverse culture, a strong economy, and a unique political system. That's what makes it such an interesting country to learn about.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short commercial break.
What is that? It's New Zealand.
Wanna try this?
Wanna try this? Wanna try this?
Want to try this?
Starting with a dairy product, New Zealand is a global leader in this sector, the first country dairy producer, with Fonterra standing as a top company. Founded in 2001, Fonterra employs over 2,000 people and generates an impressive 19 billion New Zealand dollars in annual export. The company operates in more than 100 countries, exporting products like milk powder, cheese, butter, infant formula, and other dairy ingredients to key markets such as China, the United States, and the Southeast Asia. Next, let's talk about Silverfern Farm, the pride of New Zealand's meat industry, the first ranking of New Zealand meat product. Established in 1948 and headquarters in Dunedin, this iconic company has a perfect the art of premium meat production, with 7,000 skilled workers and operation in over 60 countries. Silverfern Farm export 2.7 billion New Zealand dollars worth of top quality beef, lamb, venison, and value-added meat product annually. Their commitment to sustainable farming practices and animal welfare set them apart, ensuring every cut of meat is both ethically produced and delicious. Whether it's juicy steak sizzling on the grill or tender lamb chops for Sunday roast, Silverfern Farm promises unmatched flavor and quality. Silverfern Farms bring the best from our farms to your table. Finally, let's talk about fruits. Mr. Apple is New Zealand's leading apple producer and exporter. Founded in 2001, it is based in Hawke's Bay and employs 2,000 people. With 800 million New Zealand dollars in annual export, the company supplies premium apple varieties like Jazz, Envy, and Pacific Rose to over 20 countries, including China, the United States, and the Southeast Asia. The New Zealand's fertile soil and innovative horticultural practices contribute to the country's reputation as a global leader in high-quality fruit production.
Welcome back to Global Insight News. Now, we are diving into our next topic, consumption trends in New Zealand. For more on this, we have Syed reporting live from the port of Auckland, where this import arrived. Syed, can you tell us more?
Thank you, Rahana, at the main studio. I'm here at the port of Auckland, the hub of New Zealand imports. Joining us is Miss Rivka, an expert in trade and logistics, who will provide us with deeper insight into the country consumption trends.
Thank you, Mr. Syed. First, let's dive into the automobile industry. Nearly 40% of New Zealand consumption relies on imported car with no local car production. New Zealand import vehicles from global giants like Toyota and Hyundai. In 2021, until now, automobile import hit $8 billion with Japan leading the charge. Toyota and Hyundai dominate the roads with reliable car, SUV, and electric vehicles. Moving on to electronic, New Zealand is a tech-savvy nation but heavily reliant on imported due to the lack of local manufacturing. With billions spent annually, companies like Apple and Samsung supply everything from phone to television. The rapid pace of technology innovation keep New Zealand at the forefront of connectivity, thanks to import from countries like China and South Korea. Now, let's follow up with petroleum. Limited local production means New Zealand depends on import to meet its energy needs. In 2024, petroleum import from countries like Singapore and United States were worth billions. Global energy giants like ExxonMobil and Shell ensure that New Zealand stay power and on the move.
So thank you, Syed. So let's now take a closer look at distributions in New Zealand, which is key to its economy. Distributions connected to sectors like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Now, to explore how innovation play a role in this, we go live to Rivka at the University of Auckland. Rivka?
Today we have a special guest, Miss Farhana, a Korean student here at University of Auckland. We'll be discussing about what they get as a student in New Zealand.
As a student, I get a scholarship about $10,000 for compulsory tuition fees as citizen and the interest-free loan. Besides the scholarship and allowance also given to low-income and high-achieving students. During my primary school, I also get a free education from government, which government provide a free laptops, internet access, and the e-learning tools.
Wow, this is good for you as a student. Okay, next Miss Farhana, can you share your experience about how New Zealand ensure accessible and efficient healthcare for people?
Based on my experience, I don't have to pay for my medication when I receive a prescription. Besides, I receive a life-saving care without having to pay a high medical bills, free therapy, and the additional treatment. I also get a free vaccination from Waikato Hospital, and low-income families also can access affordable care and paying a minimal less for consultation.
It's a great experience. May I know what's your opinion on the infrastructure in New Zealand?
In my opinion, the State Highway 1 is a main road that connects the South and North Island to transport goods and services. Besides, the port of Tauranga also become the main port in New Zealand to export and import activities because it is connected by the rail of Hamilton, Auckland, and the central North Island.
Okay, Miss Farhana, thank you for joining us. Okay, let's get back to the studio.
So thank you, Rivka, for the insightful interview with the student at the University of Auckland about distributions. It's always great to hear fresh perspective directly from the ground. Now, let's dive deeper into the topic. To help us better understanding the market structure of New Zealand, I will hand it over to Rai. Rai, over to you.
Today, I will share the latest news about market structure in New Zealand. Let's get started. First, let's understand what market structure means. It's about how industries are organized, how many businesses there are, how they compete, and how easy it is for new businesses to join. In New Zealand, there are different types of market structure. Let's start with perfect competition. This happens in industry where no single business controls the market. A good example is dairy farming. While large cooperative like Fonterra exist, individual farmers compete and price depends on global demand. Another example is fisheries, where many operators work under strict quota system to supply seafood. Next is monopoly. This is when one company controls the whole market. For instance, Transpower New Zealand runs the national electricity grid. It's a regulated monopoly because having multiple grids wouldn't make sense. Now, let's look at oligopoly. This is when a few companies dominate a market in telecommunication. We have Spark, Vodafone, and 2degrees, providing mobile and internet services in supermarket. Countdown and Foodstuff are the big names, leaving little space for smaller competitors. Lastly, there's a monopolistic competition. This is when many businesses sell similar products but with some differences. Example include Burger Fuel, which stand out in the fast food market with Gourmet Burger, and adventure tourism companies like AJ Hackett Bungee offering unique, high quality and experience. To sum up, New Zealand's economy has a mixed market structure, each playing roles in the country competitive landscape. That's all for today on market structure in New Zealand. Thanks for listening. And back to the main studio.
Thank you, Rai, for that comprehensive explanation of New Zealand market structure. Your insight really helped paint a clearer picture of the economic landscape. Now, moving on to the critical topic, which is inflation and how New Zealand managed it through monetary policy. We're privileged to have Sir Syed with us to shed light on this matter during the media conference. Sir, I want to answer. Sir, I want to answer.
Good evening, Mr. Syed. I want to ask, with inflation slowing, economic growth still recovering, and unemployment rising, what step has the Reserve Bank of New Zealand taken to address these challenges?
Thank you. Yes, 2024 has been a critical year for monetary policy in New Zealand. Inflation has fallen to 2.2% within the 1 to 3% targets, but economy and employment have struggled. To address this, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand have used several key monetary tools. The most significant action was cutting the official cash rates to 4.25% in November. This helped lower borrowing costs, making it cheaper for business and households to take loans and spend more. At the same time, the RBNZ provide forward guidance, clearly signaling that more rate cut could come in early 2025. This make the business and consumer encouraging investment and spending. The Funding for Lending Program, FLP, also play a role by giving a bank low-cost fundings, so they could offer a loans to business, especially small and medium enterprise. This support job creation and economic growth. Although large-scale asset purchase or LSAP were not actively used this year, their past impact still support the economy by keeping long-term interest rate low. Overall, the RBNZ is balancing inflation control and economic recovery, aiming for a stable and growing economy in 2025. I think that's answer your questions. Thank you for attending my media conference.
Sir, I want to answer.
Sir, can you...
So thank you, Sir Syed, for your detailed explanation on inflation and New Zealand's monetary policy. However, it seems Sir Syed had to leave immediately after the sessions, sparking some curiosity and perhaps a bit of controversy. To discuss this further and provide additional insight, we have Rai back with us on the set.
We turn our attention to New Zealand's fiscal policy, how the government managed taxes, spending and debt to keep the economy stable. Joining us live from Wellington is Dr. Fardeen, an economist who specializes in government finance. Dr. Fardeen, thank you for being here.
Good evening. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about taxes. What are the key taxes policy in New Zealand this year? And we know taxes are an important sources of income for the government. How does New Zealand spend its money?
New Zealand has a different tax rates for individual based on income. The lowest tax rate is 10.5% and the highest is 39%. There is also a 50% goods and services tax, which is GST on most product and services. And also the last one is business pay a corporate tax of 28%. This tax help fund government project services. Furthermore, the government spend it on essential services like education, hospital, and infrastructure. Recently, government spending reached a record high of NSD 100 million in early 2024. The goal is to use this money wisely, improving public services while keeping the budgets balanced.
That brings us to the public debt. How is New Zealand handling its debt and what challenges does New Zealand face with its fiscal policy?
Nice question. New Zealand aims to keep its national debt between 20 and 40% of GDP. Right now, it is at 42.5%, which is slightly above the target, but still manageable. The government plans to slowly reduce it while making sure the economy stays strong. One big challenge is inflation. If prices rise too fast, the government might need to adjust tax or spending. Another challenge is economic change like a supply chain issue, which can affect revenue and debt level.
Great insight, Dr. Fadil. Thank you for breaking it down for us.
You are very welcome.
And that wraps up our coverage for today. Thank you for staying with us on Global Insight News as we explore New Zealand's fascinating economics.
So that's right. So stay tuned as we bring you more stories that connect us to the world. Until then, this is the Global Insight News. I'm Shakir Akimi.
And I'm Amira Rahana. Take care and we'll see you next time. Bye!